Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Excuse me. So, Campbell Hatton scores a first round left hook to the body knockout. Left hook to the body. What else? He's a Hatton. And this was against Lewis Fielding, who came in with 10 wins, 7 defeats. Four of those defeats had been by stoppage or knockout. And he only had 1 KO in his 10 wins. So he wasn't going to threaten Campbell Hatton. And he wasn't brought in to threaten Campbell Hatton. So what do you say about this? Because everybody says, "Oh, Campbell Hatton's rubbish. Why is he on the big cards?" But I get it. In my opinion, he should be on small hall shows mostly. Learning the trade. Maybe put him on the undercard of a big show occasionally to get him used to the lights and everything. But has he learned anything from this fight against Fielding? No, he hasn't, because it was over so quickly. It lasted a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And it was a one-punch knockout to the body. And he was not in there against a killer. But, just to play devil's advocate, if you look at Lewis Fielding, in his previous fight, he went 10 rounds with Ishmael Ellis. He lasted into the 9th with James Beach Jr. So, to do him in a round, it's not a bad statistical victory. And okay, the kid's learning. He's 22 years old. I think because he's on the big stage and because he's got the name and because he's being given all these opportunities, people are sort of hating on him. And I get it that if you have someone who's privileged and is being touted as a possible future star, you've got to judge them by a higher standard than if they're just, slipping under the radar. That's why I think Hatton should be on the smaller hall shows. But he did his thing. Is he making progress? I would say so. I mean, people forget, as much as I like Ricky Hatton, defensively he was never brilliant, and I don't think Campbell's going to be brilliant. That's clearly his weakness. And I do wonder whether he's got power, because I think this victory was only his 4th inside the distance. He's got 11 wins now. 22 years of age. He's all right. He's not a bad prospect, but that's all he is a prospect. And if you strip away the name and all the other garbage and just view him as being a 22-year-old kid who's learning the trade, give him a chance. I don't want to hate on the kid, because he's got the guts to get in that ring on the big stage. And you can say, well, that's a privilege, or you can say it's pressure. It's probably both, in all honesty. Where's he going from here? If I was him, I would go for an area title fight against a good, durable, tough, not a gimme, someone who's going to take him rounds. Hatton may get his man strength later on and pick up a bit of power, but if he doesn't, if he gets taken 10 rounds, that's fine, an area title fight. Do you know what? If he loses, so what? As far as I'm concerned, Hatton does have a defeat on his record, because Sonny Martinez of Spain, in my opinion, clearly beat him. That was back in 2021, and without a shadow of a doubt, I struggled to give Hatton a round in that fight. And that was a 6-rounder, and Martinez was basically robbed. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I very rarely like using the word rob, but as Marcus McDonald scored it 58, 57, God only knows what he was watching. And would it have killed him, Hatton, to have picked up that loss? I don't think so. I think if he fought for an area title and lost over 10, so what? He's 22, for Christ's sake. This cult of the unbeaten fighter is something that I really hate in boxing. In fact, who was it now? I think I was on Boxing Beats and Rhymes Hangout a while ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Beats made a very, very good point. He said, in the old days, I'll go back 50, 60 years, if you were undefeated, the immediate reaction was, well, you haven't fought anyone. What do you mean you're undefeated? You can't be fighting anyone good if you haven't got any defeats on your record. It was the polar opposite view. I believe in that view. You learn from mistakes. You can be protected. You can be steered. You can be, guided, navigated through the choppy waters. But what happens if things go wrong and you're suddenly in a real grueling fight where you've got to really face the music, face adversity. What are you going to draw on? What experience are you going to draw on? So I want to see Hatton not matched out of his depth, but matched tough. And if he picks up a defeat or two, that's fine with me. That's fine with me. But what do you think of this fight? Did you see it? It didn't last very long, did it? It only lasted a minute and a half or something like that. Yeah, it was on the undercard of Joshua Franklin. And what do you think of Hatton? Do you think people are unfair to him? Do you think he deserves the criticism? Where do you think he's going? Would it really be a failed career if he only won a British title, for example? Or, he fought for a world title and didn't win it. I mean, his uncle fought for a world title against a young Canelo and didn't win it. But he won the European title. Let me know your opinions and leave your comments below, of course. Thanks for watching, as always. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Hit the like button. You help us out a great deal if you do those two things. Subscribe, hit the like button. Much love. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.